Now this is a fun little story, and before you say, just get to the point, we want to know about this picture style, all of this is going to be filmed with Cinestyle, so you'll get to see, like in a normal scenario, what Cinestyle looks like. First of all, we discovered a slow leak in this tire, and so we made an appointment with our mechanic to figure out why it's leaking and get that repaired, and also we're going to get our oil changed at the same time. And we made that call when my wife and I were on our way to Southport for a date. And then as we were coming into town, we heard a weird noise. We thought that it might be the engine, so we decided, you know what, we're just gonna get there, look at it, and see if like some of the fluids may be low. But then when I got out of the vehicle, I saw this. And so yes, within a half hour of calling the mechanic to get our front driver's side tire looked at, our back driver's side tire blew. And one of the biggest problems with this is that we couldn't get our spare down, so we had to cut our date short. This story doesn't really have anything to do with this video, and like we have it at the mechanics now, so it's gonna get fixed. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. I guess I just wanted to do a story time since I never really have. And I had to pick up brake pads for this van because it needed new brakes. So that's what I'm doing today. Is it so true that whenever you get a day off, you never have a day off? And 4 sets of brake pads later, I'm done. I also had to patch a tire. Today is busy. I mean, look at this. Look. Crazy. You get dirty when you walk on cars, especially ones that are over a decade old. And now I feel way better. I feel clean, which is super nice. But now I have to go all the way into town because I gotta get a bunch of other stuff for other projects, because weekends and Fridays and days off are always more busy than work days, at least for me. I think this will work. And it feels like a waste to be driving practically next to the skate park and not to stop and skate around for a few seconds. No, actually I have a good reason for why I'm out here, is I'm trying to get video in different scenarios, different frame rates, so that I can show myself as much as you guys what the Cinestyle profile is for, because Cinestyle has been around for longer than most of the Canon cameras, and it's been used extensively. Like, there's a lot of videos on it already. I want to see how difficult it is to edit Cinestyle, as well as if it's worth it. Like, does the upgrade in dynamic range and all that, is it enough to make it worth it? Well, that was fun. I actually met a couple of guys down there who were kind of at the same level, just a little bit better than me. And so that was really fun skating with them, because we were able to just sort of talk stuff out. I got to ask a few questions from someone who had relatively recently learned it. It was great. I just finished editing all of that you just saw, and it was a very interesting study. What I've learned is that Cinestyle is a mixed bag. It's not just yes, use it, or don't use it. There are some problems with Cinestyle. One of them is that because it's such a flat picture profile and the bitrate of the M50 is so low, you kind of lose color information. I've seen some people who have done studies on this who say that you actually lose, like, I think maybe a third of the color information, and so your colors are not going to be as rich when you're using Cinestyle. You might be able to either fix or mask this problem. Of course, you cannot add color information after you take the video, but you can color grade it in a way that makes it look really good, even if it has less color depth than you otherwise could have. I mean, us with DSLR cameras that shoot an 8-bit 420 have been dealing with less color information for years. I mean, every Sony shooter who shoots an S-Log2 or S-Log3, they know what happens with the colors when they're editing in post, and they still get amazing videos, even with such flat picture profiles and low bit rates. And another problem with Cinestyle is because they raise the shadows so much, you have a lot more noise than you otherwise would in the shadows. Now, if you have a denoiser, you can get rid of a lot of that noise. And really, everyone that works with log profiles already knows that your shadows are always much more noisy in log than they are when you're shooting in a standard or like my modified neutral profile. And that's because they're raising up the shadows so much. And log is not built for you to keep those shadows raised up. It's built so that you can lower those shadows, add more contrast in post-production, and that'll get rid of most of the noise. But keep in mind that you will have more noise in your shadows before the edit and potentially after the edit. If you think that you're just going to be able to leave this picture profile as is, you're not. You're going to have to work with it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some great benefits to Cinestyle. If you look at this shot, you can see the sky and the clouds, and the sky isn't completely blown out like it would have been if I was shooting with the neutral profile, even with the contrast lowered to -4. It does do a good job of retaining more information in your highlights and your shadows. And of course, if I was doing this shot with my neutral profile, I would pretty much just sacrifice my highlights. But this, I mean, I really like the way that these shots turned out. Cinestyle does put you in a really good place to get cinematic footage, but there is one big caveat to that. Everything about your process is going to take longer. I'm trying to do at least one video every week while having a wife and kids and a full-time job. I don't have time to spend massaging footage to get that perfect cinematic look out of it. It all comes down to time. And not only time in post-production, but in production. I was constantly looking at the screen, setting my exposure, making it look really good on the screen, and then looking at my histogram and realizing that once I started lowering my shadows and playing with the footage, that all of my footage was going to look way too dark, and that all of my exposure values were way too far over to the shadows side of the histogram. And I realized that you cannot expose images by sight on the back of the screen when you're using Cinestyle. You always had to be really careful and plan your shots way more when you're using Cinestyle. And this is why Sony and Panasonic and a lot of the cameras that have flat and log picture profiles have other exposure measures like zebras that allow you to see much easier what you have in your shadows and what you have in your highlights. Because that's the big problem when shooting in log. Unless you expose it in a scientific way, your footage is going to be all over the place because your screen is not going to show you what your end result is. Now, of course, us Canon people and EOS M shooters in particular, we don't know a lot about log and flat picture profiles. That's why I get so many comments about it, because Canon hasn't been adding log profiles. Bottom line, I will probably be using Cinestyle when I do more film stuff, when I'm doing things that are more planned out than just a normal vlog. I will not be using Cinestyle for vlogs like this. It's just too much. I cannot be taking the time to edit log profile every single video. But when I really want that extra dynamic range and really want to get a different look, just something that looks way better, than I'm gonna spend time massaging the footage to make it look amazing, I'm gonna be using Cinestyle. And if you have the time, if you're someone who makes more films rather than vlog, and you make content that you can spend time on instead of something that you have to get up tomorrow, then I think you'll be pretty happy with Cinestyle. I think that's it for Cinestyle. Basically, if you have time, use it. If you don't use it. You'll probably get frustrated. But I had something else I want to talk about, and that's sort of a channel update for all of the people who have been following this channel for a while. And I wanted to talk about, because I'm sure you've noticed, my upload schedule has not been as consistent. I haven't been posting on the same days or even posting twice a week recently. And that's, again, because of the time issue. I got to the point doing 2 videos a week where I wasn't putting a ton of effort into each video. And really that showed even in my analytics, where per video my views were going down because people were just less interested. I think that people kind of got burnt out watching me. They just were like, well, he's posting all the time. They see a video in their feed and they say, yeah, I might watch that later, and then they never do. And then when they did click on a video, it wasn't as good as the videos that they subscribed for because I didn't have the time to put into the video. So what my new upload schedule is going to be, at least for right now, is I'm going to be uploading Sunday mornings, and then if I have like a really great video idea that I think I can do really well during midweek, then I'll post a midweek video. But for the next probably couple of months, I'm probably just going to be doing one video a week. And there's a lot of reasons that are taking up my time. One, I'm walking more because we're trying to save up to buy a new van so that we can modify it into a handicap van. Two, my wife is a couple of months away from her due date, and so I don't want to be working on videos the whole time. And I probably will, for like a week or a month or whatever after the baby is born, still continue to do one video a week. I do want to go back to 2 videos a week, but I want to do it when I'm in a good position to do it. I don't want to just do it to do it like I kind of got into the habit of. I really enjoy making these videos, and I don't want to get to the point where I don't. I think that's it for channel updates. Keep an eye out every Sunday for a new video, and also go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the description, and keep an eye on my community page because I share other people's videos as well as talk about different things and have different channel updates on the community page. I don't like to do a lot of channel update videos, so usually when I'm doing updates about my YouTube channel, it's in one of those sources. And now that we're done with that, I hope you found this video helpful. Please give me a like if you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.